Hope everybody's doing well. Battle of the Decades is over, and unfortunately, I think I got two returns for it, so oops, can't do anything about that. We'll get to those very quickly here. So, Jacksonville, Florida, 320. 1st of May, 2024 is what it says here. So, we'll open this one here, and this looks like a bowling card here, and this is none other than Roger Bowker. I thought I had Roger Bowker, but I'm not really sure what's going on there, so I don't know. But there is Roger Bowker. Maybe I had two cards, I don't know. But I'll have to double check and make sure I don't have Roger Bowker. But yeah, that's weird. I don't know what happened there. Really don't know what that's all about there. And again, I thought I had that, but I could be wrong. You know, these are all starting to blend together here. This one here is from North Texas, Dallas, Texas. There's that one with the Elvis stamps on there. Those Elvis stamps are real fun to use. Really happy to use those, you know, and decrease the population of 8 billion Elvis stamps that everybody saved. We got a note or some index cards here. I don't know what this is here. It's like a minor leagues card of some kind. So, oh, I guess he used this to protect the card, sort of. I don't know. So are those in here? Maybe he got those from somebody else. I don't know, but throw them in there. And this is Ricky Rhodes on the 1991 Classic Best Prince William Cannons. I think that's what that is, so that's cool. Signed in a thin blue Sharpie. The light is kind of washing it out there, but it looks pretty good from here. So very cool. So that is one baseball and one, this is just one that I had sitting on the table. I said, you know what, send that. So I didn't keep the entire set. In fact, I didn't have the entire set. It's quite a huge set, but a lot of these classic cards here, I've had many of those over the years, just kept what I felt like keeping. So Roger Bowker and Ricky Rhodes, thank you for the autograph returns there. Again, if I already have Roger Bowker, oh well. But again, I did not duplicate the cards. It's just that box came with some duplicate cards, and there was nothing I can do about it. Speaking of duplicating cards, one of the things I'm working on is a 1950s era, perhaps a 1950s era trading card set. And so I made a list of what I think that I need, you know, for this sheet of paper here. Used a very old pencil, probably even from the 50s. But anyway, so I'm going through COMC when I did my last order, and I said, okay, do. And I left plenty of cards there. Now, they're not particularly rare, and there's some people that have 5 and 6, 7, 12 examples of them. So they're not particularly rare, but finding the picture that you want, because it doesn't matter if it's centered or if there's a crease in it, if the picture displays properly, because a lot of these 50s era Topps cards, they get dull on the front and they essentially lose their viewability, if that makes sense. You know, they get dulled and scratched and look pretty bad. Sometimes they're registrations, so it could be a bad condition card, but there's really good photo clarity along with a nice picture on front, and that makes it all worthwhile for me. There are some cards that are always poor quality and blurry, so I'm not worried about the condition of the corners so much on those. So I went and purchased what I thought was the best ones that I could get for the lowest price on COMC, and then I decided to look at eBay, and I'm like, geez, I should have gone back to COMC and get some of those, because some of the condition of cards on eBay are very, very rough. And what happened is that I saw how many choices that I had. So I said, okay, I got plenty of choices, plenty of cards are being uploaded all the time. I'm not really wanting to spoil necessarily what this might be. I already have some cards from it, so it's not like a big spoiler alert. But, so the thing was, is that, so I said, okay, fine, and I'm done with COMC, finish that off, and request shipment for that, and save my $5, because they had $5 coming towards me. So then, what happened was not realizing a good fraction of the listings are COMC, another Dean's Cards, and Burbank Sports Cards, and those are three of the main ones that wipe out a whole bunch of the listings. Dean's Cards, unfortunately, you know, as good a condition they might have been, you know, $5 for shipping is basically essentially like COMC. I'm trying to find something that isn't $5 per shipping, or $5 shipping, because that makes a card, you know, $6 to $10. You know, and then if you have, you know, 800, or not 800, but if you have like, you know, 120 odd cards plus to get, you know, and then having to pay $6 a piece, that's never fun. And then, and also Dean's Cards, you know, didn't do a very good job of an order that I had. They kind of put the wrong pictures and made me pay the shipping for their mistake. And so I've never bought from them ever again. But the other thing is Burbank Sports Cards has cards for $2 a piece, which is fine, but you do not know which one you are getting. And there's the batter's box. They don't think I have any of those cards there. Sometimes they do. I might check. But the thing is that they don't tell you which card you're getting. So if you're getting a card, from the 1950s, whether it's a $2 common or not, then sadly, you might get one with a rough corner, a ripped edge, and you have to replace that card. Now your $2, is now turning into $4 to $6 again. And then you could have gotten a better condition card. One of the things I'm seeing with some of these 50s era type cards here, that people are getting them graded, and some of them are coming back 5s and 6s, which is just fine. But I'm also seeing lots of ungraded examples of 5s and 6s. Somebody wanted $3,500 or more for one card, graded an 8. Now that's all good and well, but the thing about these particular cards is most people are not looking at the grade, they're looking at the card. And so they're looking at the photograph and seeing what's going on in the image there. So again, you're wasting a lot of time and effort on that. And then these cards are selling between $1 and $3, and then I'm seeing people sell complete sets, and then I'm saying, okay, let's see, now this works out to this amount of dollars a card, and that doesn't make sense. Obviously, card number 1 and maybe the last card in a set are going to be commanding a premium there. So, don't overpay on, you always have to look at these lots here, because you could get tricked into a lot of cards where you're thinking you're saving a bunch of money and card number 1 is missing, and you're not getting in that in the lot. Now, if you're doing a lot and throwing in card number 1, you might be shooting yourself in the foot, because you could sell card number 1 or card number 80 or 100 or whatever the last number in the card set is. You're throwing that away, for some, whoever happens to be the high bidder in that, so you don't always win on that particular end. But like I said, there's just way too many options and variables, so I have to basically say, okay, I can't do COMC through eBay. That's not what I do. And then I could go back to COMC and see that the ones that I, 65 cents or $1 or whatever, but still that kind of defeats the purpose, because I wanted to have a nice well-rounded set here and not potentially buy cards from the exact same collection, if that makes sense. Because a lot of cards, if they're loaded up on Burbank or COMC, they might come from the exact same person that owned it or the same set. And I don't necessarily want to get, a lot of the identical grade cards, if that makes sense. I want to have some better ones, and then along with some of the lesser ones here. But I want to have a good image. I just don't want everything to be muted, unless that's the only way I can get it. The whole point is to view the cards and enjoy that. If it's like dull and muted, then there's no reason to get that card regardless of how little it is. But sometimes you'll see a card for 45 cents, and you're like, there's no reason for me to not get this one. That's stupid, because that's not one of the, quote, iconic cards in the set. And then, then you see all these other different cards that are kind of floating around that. And then you gauge how many of those are there, because if you wanted to do a cohesive collection showing the other particular person or player depicted with some other cards there, again, COMC is probably the best place for those, even though you pay your $5 for shipping. But, you get one person that has a dollar for a card, and then COMC has it for 28 cents. So you have to weigh that and how long you want to wait to get that. It's just mind-boggling. Why can't COMC say, I want to get this order done in a week? Because you wouldn't know how many orders I would do from them if they were just like, shipped within a week or two. I would do like double or triple the amount of orders at least. I would just do all these $5 and $10 and $15 orders from them, because it would be just no different than shopping on eBay. And that's what I don't like about that. And of course, all the same cards more or less are on eBay, just different. They're just not sale prices. So if you see a card for $5 on COMC, it doesn't give you the sales price from going directly to their website. So that's one bonus of going to COMC. But again, I don't want to spoil anything here. But again, corners are not a big deal if they're there. If they're not there, I kind of have to double check. You could easily spend $5 on a card with paper loss. And again, anywhere between $1 and $5, people are just, $5 and then it's all ripped and got tape on it, and you have to always double check, because this is the era where people glued cards into books. And I don't want to have that back damage. There's no card that I'm going to buy probably for this particular set that has any kind of back damage, unless there's some specific reason for it. If it was like card number 1 and it was only $5, you know, that sort of thing, then I would take a look at that back damage and see how much of the paper I can remove with a little bit of, you know, you just basically wet an eraser and take off the top layers, and then it doesn't come in contact with the card. It just takes off the extra paper and makes it legible and readable. And again, I'm not trying to trick anybody into a better grade, and I'm also not trying to sell these cards, so that's my own doing. Again, I basically am not altering the card. Somebody else already has done that. I'm just taking off the extra paper to make it more visible on the back, and then just leaving that layer of glue in between that. So unless the glue happens to wash right off, but I'm not adding any water to the card. I'm just adding water to the little bits of paper to make it more displayable. That is all I'm doing. So anyway, that is today's video. There are 2 autographs and absolutely nothing else. I'm waiting on some eBay stuff here that is probably going to be for care packages, that sort of thing. One of them is just, I'm just at a loss right now. So hope you enjoyed that. I'll have another video maybe today or tomorrow. I was going to head into town, but I might have a trip to the card shop tomorrow. We'll have to see if we can meet up. My buddy here in Salem wanted to meet at one of the local card shops, and I will be there whether he's there or not. And hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.